This is project PowerPoint 3E, Backyard Gardens. This file is open, the Backyard Garden PPTX, and the first thing it asks you to do is change the presentation colors to green and the fonts to Calibri. So if you switch to the Design tab, you can move over to the variants option, the variants group, and click on the drop down here. That's basically the more button. So that's going to pop down and allow you to change the colors. So it asks you to change these to green. And then also as part of those more options, you have your font choices. And it asks you to change also to Calibri. So that's going to make that change on all of the slides. Next, it asks you to format the background color of slide 1, so make sure you're on slide 1. You can get to format background in the Customize group on the Design tab, so you could get to it up here. You also have the ability to right-click anywhere, kind of in a blank area of your slide and get to the Format Background. Either way, it will open up your options for formatting. In this case, it asks us to choose a solid fill, and then in the third column, it says to pick the second color. Okay, so that's going to be that tan color. Next, it asks you to select slides 2 and 3. So if you come over here in the left-hand part of your window where you see your thumbnails, you can select slide 2, hold down your Control or your Command key, and click to get those 2 slides selected. This background is going to be a texture fill. So if you still have that format background option, you're going to come over here to the picture or texture fill. If you needed to go to format background again for some reason, you could click on this to get to that background. It wants us to choose the recycled paper texture. So it kind of defaults to whatever one is selected here. But what you do is click on the drop down for texture and the recycled paper is, where's recycled paper? There it is. Kind of this grayish, tannish, I guess. Next, it asks you to move back to slide 2. Make sure that this is the only slide you have selected. And it asks you to select this text over here on the left. You can either kind of click in the text and then make sure you click around the edge so that you have the whole an or if you hold down your Control key and kind of click, it will select the whole thing. On the Animations tab, it's asking us to add an entrance effect called Split. Now, you can see these effects up here on your Animation tab in the Animation group. But if you click on the More button here, it shows you the different categories. So in this case, it specifically asked us for an entrance. So this is what's going to happen with this text box as it enters the slide. So it asks us to apply that split effect. Okay, so that's what, and again, it shows you that little preview there, so you get to see that. There are some options with different effects. If this is highlighted, it means there are some options to choose from. Not every effect is going to have a lot of options, but in this case, if you click on the drop down, it asks us to change this so that the effect options are horizontal out. Okay, so it's going to split kind of from the middle and then move horizontally from that area. The start setting is going to be after previous. If we left it at on click, that means that that text is not going to come in, that split effect is not going to happen until we click. But we want this to kind of happen with the previous, with the after previous. So we want that to happen with the previous effect, which essentially is the slide appearing. So when you switch to the slide, it's automatically going to apply that split entrance. That's kind of the next thing that happens. So change the duration to 1, okay, 1 second, and that's it for number 5. Then it asks you to use the animation painter to apply the same animation from this paragraph that we just used, and it wants you to apply it to the bulleted list on slide 3. So make sure this is still selected, okay? If it doesn't have the border around it, make sure you select it again. The animation painter is here. You can click to basically get that painter. Then you are going to move to slide 3. And when you click, you'll see that before you even click, you're going to see that you have that Format Painter in the same way you use Format Painter for using painting formats. This is going to apply that to that box when you click on it, and you should see that that automatically is going to appear that way. Then it asks you to, on slide 3, which is the one we're on, remove the animation from the title. So if you click on any part of your slide, you should see your animation pane is available. Okay, I'm gonna close this format shape. So animation pane. If I click on any different part of it, you're going to see it's going to select something over here in the animation pane. In this case, and these are in order of when they're going to happen. So this already has animation applied to it. I can see it here, this title, and it asks us to remove that. So if you click on that little drop down, that little chevron arrow, you can choose to remove that. So that's just to show you that if you apply some kind of animation and you don't want to keep it, you have the ability to delete it. Move to slide 4. On slide 4, you're hiding the background graphics. So these lines that you see over here are considered to be the background graphics. So if you click to make sure you have the slide selected, you can either kind of right click to get to Format Background, or you could go to that Format Background option from the Design tab. Either way, Format Background is going to open up this task pane to the right, and it asks you for this particular slide to remove those background graphics, so hide background graphics. You'll notice that because this was the only slide I had selected, it's not going to change the background graphics on the other slides. Also in this 7th step, this is a little bit confusing. It asks us to use the downloaded picture, so the purple flower JPEG file that we downloaded for this project. It wants us to format the background with that picture. Now that does not mean to put the picture on this slide and then, kind of put it behind stuff. You actually set the background picture by going over to on your fill, you're going to go to this picture or texture fill, and then you're going to select that file by clicking to Insert Picture from File. Now, it probably went to your Downloads folder. Next, you're going to select the title on the 4th slide. So I've got my title placeholder selected. On your Home tab, you can get to the Shape Fill. It asks you to go to the 5th column. Okay, so that's going to start with your green accent 1, but it asks you to select the last color in that 5th column. So I'm going to come all the way down to this green accent 1 darker 50%. While this is also selected, we're going to change the font color, and it asks you to change the font color to the first color in the first column, so essentially the white. With slide 4 displayed, insert the downloaded video file. So again, that's going to be one of the files that came with your project, the P03E video number 1 MP4. So you need to switch to your insert tab to get to video. And this is, we're not looking online, it's something that you should have downloaded. So you're going to choose video on my PC and then navigate to where the file was saved on your computer. Once you find the video, click to select it and choose to insert. And that is going to place the video on this slide. It asks you to change the height of the video to 6.25, so it should automatically be selected. And you can just go, if you're on the Video Tools Format tab, you're going to bump this up to 6.25. You may need to, or if you choose to, you can type in the 6.25 here. And what's going to happen is it's automatically going to change the, when you change the height, it's going to change the width at the same time. It wants us to align this to the center and bottom of the slide. So with this selected, you're going to go to the Align option, and it asks you to align first to the center, and it's 2 separate things. Align to the center of the slide, and then align to the bottom of the slide. So that's going to place that where it asks you to put it. Format the video with the intense style bevel rectangle. So what you're going to do is, again, it should still be selected. So this is a style. So on that video tools format tab, make sure that's where you are. If you don't have it selected, that won't show. The video styles are here. You may want to click again in the more button because then it gives you the different categories. So we have subtle, moderate, and intense. And it asks you to do these, I'm sorry, the subtle bevel rectangle. So we want bevel, it doesn't say rounded, bevel. There it is. Change the video start settings to start automatically. That's on your playback tab. So you want this to start automatically. You're going to click that from the drop down. And then you're going to trim the video to an end time of 14 seconds. So with the click on trim video, and then what you're doing is changing the end time as it mentioned. So you're going to go back. Okay, I'm using the down arrow to do this. You could also slide this, but it brings it to 14 seconds. So 1400 if you can get it. If you can't drag it perfectly, you also can type in here so that it's 14 and then choose OK. So it's going to trim that last part of the video off. Then number 13 says to insert a header and footer on the notes and handouts page. So we're going to go to our Insert tab into the text group and get to header and footer. Now it specifically says to put these on notes and handouts, so not on the slide tab. So click to select the notes and handouts tab. You're inserting the date and it does want it to be automatically updated. So make sure that you leave that circle in there. Then it asks you to leave the page number there, but it also wants you to add a footer. So we're going to type in the footer area. And it asks you to basically, it's the name of this file. So 3E, oops, 3 capital E, guess I have caps lock on, underscore backyard garden. And there's a also an underscore between backyard, so garden. Oops. Okay, apply to all. Then you're going to your properties, so file, show all properties, and for tag, it wants you to type in backyard and garden. And that's it. Save and close the file and submit for grading.